what will happen in the ServiceNow webinar, what we'll go through in this is basically get an introduction of ServiceNow, get to know how you can get a ServiceNow instance. And there is no installation required, guys, in ServiceNow. So you can get an instance free of cost. It is a personal development instance. So, and what exactly is ITSM, ITOM, ITAM, and ITBM? So there are different modules in ServiceNow. So we would be just giving in highlights of these 4 modules. There's 2-3 modules more in it. And then we'll go through the incident management, just a highlight of it, and what kind of steps we follow in incident management, key roles in incident management, and then what are the ServiceNow applications which is available out of box, which is given by ServiceNow, and what you can do by yourself. Okay? We'll also venture upon the career scope in ServiceNow, what you can go forward, and what kind of certifications you want to do. You can pursue based on your interest. Okay? So basically, when we say ServiceNow is a cloud platform, and it basically has integrated different IT processes, be it a strategy, be it design, transition, operations. Everything is under one umbrella, and that is in ServiceNow Cloud Platform. So it is trying to provide everything in one platform rather than having distributed applications for each of the IT processes purpose. And by centralizing all the data in one particular platform, it is, making the productivity and the efficiency. It is increasing the efficiency and productivity of all type of business users. So if you have, it can be used in healthcare, insurance, banking, in any of the business users can use this particular thing. So the main concept of ServiceNow is trying to have all the kind of IT processes in one platform. So that's the main integrated thing which is so powerful that ServiceNow is selling because of this reason, that it is having everything under one umbrella. Okay. So let me go forward, and I'll just give an introduction. That ServiceNow was founded on 2004, and the main thing what was focusing at that time was ITSM, basically IT service management. It was in a competition with BMC Remedy, and it has somehow surpassed BMC Remedy for sure. So ServiceNow was first of all catering for only ITSM needs of the clients or the customers, but later it started venturing upon more areas, be it security, HR operations, HR delivery, operations, customer services. And now it is dealing with automations and other stuff. So the next releases are actually dealing with automation releases. Okay. And ServiceNow usually, as any other platform, is dealing with whatever new things it is introducing, or whatever is existing. If you want to enhance it, it goes for releases, and its releases is based on the city names. Basically, right now, ServiceNow has released a new release which is called as Orlando. We are in Orlando right now, and previous to it was New York. So it goes with alphabetical order, and it's alphabetical order, city-wise alphabetical order. Okay.
Swati, I have one question. Like after the series ends of alphabets, like from A to Z, so what would be the plan of ServiceNow to continue with?
That's on ServiceNow. Maybe they'll again start with A to Z, and they'll start with new cities, because there are a lot of cities with A to Z. So right now they use Istanbul, so they would use anything else which comes with I. Maybe they'll use Italy or something like that. It depends on them, so how they want to release it. Okay, so if somebody knows about cloud platform, so cloud platforming works in 2 ways. Okay, either it could have an architecture of multi-instance, or it is a multi-tenancy. Okay, so what happens is when you have a common data center. Okay, so ServiceNow is giving you a PaaS, so basically platform as service cloud model. What it means is that it will give you infrastructure, it will give you everything to set up your data. You have to just know what kind of applications you want to develop, if you want to develop. If you don't want to develop a custom application, you can use ServiceNow as is, because it gives you the whole package. Okay. So when the data centers are there and the data are there, Okay, so the data can have multi-tenancy option. Basically, multiple people can access the same instance. Okay, or it could be that each individual will have one instance. So ServiceNow is promoting its multi-instance architecture so that whatever data you have, only you will have in your instance. Okay. So suppose if you have a personal instance, whatever data you're creating there, I will not be able to access it. So that's the kind of privacy, that's the kind of holistic approach ServiceNow is doing by promoting multi-instance architecture. Okay, and as I said you before, that it is a cloud solution, so it is an integrated cloud solution. Okay. Any other question, guys? Can we move to the next slide? Do you have any other questions you want to ask about the introduction of ServiceNow? Okay, so let's go for the next slide. Okay. Okay, this is a pictorial diagram, and this is taken from the ServiceNow site itself, if you can see here. Okay. So, as I said you that right now, I guess from New York release, that is just previous to this release, they are kind of focusing on what is hot in market. The things which is hot in market is automation, machine learning, and AI, right? So they are kind of leveling up their game, and they have introduced intelligent automation engine. So if you can see here, so they are relying on machine learning. They're using a basic principle of machine learning, which is not shown to us as such. Okay? So for anomaly detection, for predictive modeling, and other stuff. Okay, and it is catering to IT, security, customer service, HR, and business apps. By business apps, it can be an out-of-box ServiceNow business app, or it could be your own customized business app. And to facilitate these sectors, it is using service portal, it is using notifications. Notification is basically email or push mails, what you get. Okay, so any incidents or if anything you have raised, so the customer should get prompt answers where exactly we are in our incident management or incident process, for example. So we are sending notification to them time to time on the basis of the progress of incident, for example. We have a knowledge base so that a customer can get inside or an end user can get inside and get an answer instead of raising a report anomaly to the service ticket as such. We have catalog items wherein you can order some catalog items. Basically, if you want to add, suppose if Apple is using ServiceNow, so if you want to order an Apple iPad, so you can do it by using a service catalog as such. Okay. You have workflows, you have reports and dashboards, which is very important for the leaderships to, see where we are exactly, to get the collective data in a report, in a pictorial format. So we have that also. And the important thing is that we have a single database. So the data centers is having a database, and the database which is used in the behind the scenes is MySQL. Okay. We have many other things. We have orchestration also. So as I said you this before, this is multi-instance, secure and compliant. As it's a cloud platform. So many people have this question whether it's secure or not. So it is giving a lot of focus for its security, and it is very secure and compliant. Okay, and it is also scalable. That's for sure. Okay, let's go for the next slide, guys. So as I said you that ServiceNow does not need anything to be installed in your computer as such. Okay, if you have a desktop or a laptop or anything and you want ServiceNow, you want to just try out ServiceNow, you need not install anything in your computer or desktop. That's the beauty of it. So what you can have is, so how would you get a ServiceNow instance? So as I said you that each person will get a personal instance that is free of cost. Okay, but when I say free of cost, you would get everything, whatever you want to experiment something, yeah, it's fine. But as a company, you would have to buy instances based on how we go forward, right? We have a development to be done, and then we go for testing, and then we go for production. So you will have 3 or 4 instances, few for sub-production instances, and 1 for production instances. Okay, so that is on company base, but for us, if you just want to fiddle around the ServiceNow, you can get a free personal instance. And the basic thing what you have to do is, there are 3 steps to do, okay? You have to log in to developerservicenow.com. I have already registered, so I have got an instance, but still. So what you have to do is you have to go to developer.servicenow.com and then you will get a manage instance. But now they have changed their format. So your instance, if you can see here, I have highlighted it, okay? So you would get your instance and you can actually request instance instead of refresh status. Okay? So you can get a request instance. There's a button. You can just click on it and then you can go for registration. Firstly, you have to register in developer.servicenow.com as I have registered, guys. I have signed in, okay, by my Gmail ID, and you can do the same. Once you get your, once you log in into developer.servicenow.com, once you request a new instance, you have to just click on this instance, and then you would have to give a password, a unique password for your admin user, okay? So as a default, for your personal instance, you are an admin, okay? So the username will always be admin and the password will be the password what you are giving, a unique password for yourself, okay? And you can log in. And this is how ServiceNow looks like. So I'm just loading. This is how ServiceNow looks like, and still loading. This is a home page, and you can actually modify your home page according to the business requirements and other stuff. Okay? So let's start with different modules of ServiceNow. So basically, ServiceNow has different modules which caters for different requirements of the business. For example, a business can be only dealing with ITSM, that is IT service management, then it can only go with ITSM module and go for it. So let's start with ITSM, guys, because it's a common one and it is available as soon as you have a personal instance of ServiceNow. Yeah? This is a free of cost kind of thing which is available for us. What ITSM does is it is basically processing, it is basically managing your incident and problem management. It is basically managing the change management, request and knowledge management. It's dealing with reports and dashboards. Suppose if you have an incident process, if you're using different tools for managing your change management, creating problems, creating incidents, working on requests, so everything can be clubbed together and worked in ITSM. So it is catering mainly for incident problem management, change management, and it will go through all the business processes. Okay? So if I go for incidents, right, you can just click on incidents. And if you can see here, you can get all the incidents which is available in your personal instance. And this is available out of box, so you need not do anything about it. Okay. And you can just open anything, desktop not working, I will open this instance. So basically it goes through the workflow, what usually a business process workflow goes through. Okay. It could be different for different companies, and you can work with customizing your incident process as much as possible. So you can take this base and customize it according to your business needs, and it's very simple to customize it. Go to the next slide. I will cover in incident management, in ITSM incident management in the later slides, so that you can get a better picture of it. Yeah? The next one is ITOM. Basically, if you have an operations, right, each company will have operations in which they will be having. Yeah. Any questions, guys?
In ITOM, do we also consider CMDB?
Yes, ITOM basically deals with the CMDB database is available in ITSM itself free of cost, but loading the CMDB dealt with ITOM, basically operation management. So when you say about operation management, basically it is trying to figure out where is your CIs, basically configuration item. Configuration item could be your desktop or laptop or the telephones in your company. So it could be anything, okay? So anything could be comprising of CIs, configuration items. And so what it does is in operation management, it will fetch all the, so I'll just cover one thing, okay? So in ITOM, you will get discovery, event management, orchestration, and service mapping, okay? When I talk about discovery, as a term suggests discovery, right? So basically, it will try to ping all the systems what is available in your ecosystem, the company's ecosystem, and you know what? It will find out. Okay, fine. Is this, for example, a laptop? Okay, is this laptop registered to my company, or is it a subcontractor's? Is it available for subcontractor or something like that? And it will find out what are the installed applications and everything. So Discovery will do that and fetch the data from all over your ecosystem, company's ecosystem, and pull it in CMDB-CI. Now, CMDB-CI is a parent table, and you will have a child table also, basically categorizing it in hardware, software, and what kind of configuration item it is. So that's the later thing what will happen. Okay. And event management is basically if an event is triggered, basically if any thing is not working, so you will raise an event, right? So it automatically has a dashboard to figure out if there is a need of maintenance or is it in the maintenance. Basically, if each operations will have a maintenance scheduled maintenance, right? It will give that also that, you know what, this particular thing is in, say, scheduled maintenance, and that's the reason it will not be available from this time to this time. Even management could do other thing also, like if something is failing, if something is not working, it will register in a dashboard fashion, and it will make it available faster so that people will know, okay, fine, this is not working well, so my service guys will be fixing it faster. And as it is in the same system, so it is much faster, you know, because everything is interlinked as such. Orchestration is just a step ahead of the operation management as such. Okay? And service mapping and discovery usually goes in hand in hand. Basically, you can use a discovery or a service mapping based on what kind of approach you want to go for. Is it a top-down or a bottom-up approach? So it's a kind of algorithm that you have to go forward with. Okay. So the thing is, everything is having ITSM as an existing base, okay? And ITOM, ITBM, everything is an added feature in ServiceNow. As I said, you that ServiceNow was introduced with ITSM, and now everything else is coming up on top of it. Now, why I said you on top of it is basically it is related to the licensing now. ITSM will have a lot of things which is free of cost. ITOM is a licensed module, and you have to buy the license, and it is for each instance as such. Let me go for the next one, that is asset management. Asset is a very important thing in IT, and it deals with all the financial, contractual, inventory details. So what happens is, every company will have inventory somewhere, okay, and it will be having a note of what are the hardwares available, what are the devices available in it, and whom it has been assigned to. And once a basic example is, an employee is having a laptop assigned to that person, okay, an employee leaves the organization and hands over the laptop to the IT department, okay, and now now this particular laptop is available for anyone else to fetch it. But if your inventory is not strong enough, if your inventory details are not stored well enough and the management is not done properly, people will not know that this laptop is actually available for them, and maybe it will just go unused. The same thing goes with other examples also, like if you have a cable, if you have a mouse available. So it's not just for the availability thing, but just the whole process of asset provisioning and inventory management, which can be done in asset management of ServiceNow very easily. Yeah, it gives more of a dashboard and other stuff also, but this is what it does. Any questions, guys, till now, or shall I proceed further?
No questions.
Okay, fine. Perfect. Okay. So let's go for the next slide, guys. So the next module is the business management. Now, this module is very important for actually handling the project as such. So now, any IT company is either working in a, it's a bit difficult to right now term it as, many guys have moved to agile right now, but still waterfall models are used, okay. There are two kinds of management what we do, okay. Waterfall is that we will have a certain time given to the customer. Suppose if customer says, I want this product to be developed, my management will say, you know what, it will take 6 months time. And in between, we just don't interact with the customer as such. We will follow the life cycle of the application, basically the requirement gathering, um, developing, unit testing, then regression testing, and everything is done. And at the end, the product is given to the customer after 6 months. And maybe the person who actually did a requirement gathering did a mistake, and you know what? They will say, "This is not the product I wanted. I want a different product." So the 6 months is wasted. So you have to again go forward with it. So many of you guys would have faced this issue. So this is called as a waterfall model. Okay. And there's another module which is called as agile model, which is really in now. So either you will be using Scrum or either you will be using Kanban, a combination of Scrum and Kanban, so many other things. So as a business, as a business management, it's very important for us to have that kind of whole process, basically managerial stuff, what we want to do. Creating a financial management, basically the financial charts, figuring out the costs and other stuff. And agile means finding out how many resources you have, resource management, sprint cycles and other stuff. So these all things can be, catered well in ITBM. So if your organization deals with, obviously every organization has a project management in place, and for them, for having a lean methodology followed in your company, you can actually use ITBM, which will give different sectors, different sections of what a manager does in day-to-day life. It could be project and portfolio management, basically resource management as such. Okay, and agile delivery execution, basically if one resource is used in one sprint cycle, maybe I'm not using that particular resource into some other sprint cycles. So in that way, so these all plannings can be done easily in ServiceNow itself. And the advantage is that ServiceNow will have stories. Now, when I say stories, it is user stories, guys, and it is used in Scrum methodology, okay? Agile methodology as such. So, for manager, it's very easy to check out, okay, fine, these are the stories assigned to this particular person. So, I will not be involving that particular, because that person is exhausted. So, I will not take him or her to another sprint. I will just take somebody else. So, that is that easy for a manager to track, or a Scrum Master to track as such. Okay, so this is what will be ITBM catering to as such. Okay, it is mostly dealing with strategizing and business management. So after I cover this slide, can you see that how much is ServiceNow providing in one platform itself? It is catering to business management. It is catering to operation management. It is dealing with ITSM. And it is also dealing with asset management. And it deals with many other things. If you can see, HR, customer service, security. So it deals with many other things, and it's a beautiful platform as such. What this picture shows is basically what it is covering in ITSM, what is covered in ITOM. So someone asked me about the CMDB, right? CMDB table is available in ITSM, but filling it can be done with ITOM. Okay? Then we have ITBM, wherein you have tests and other stuff. You have software asset management. You have many things. Suppose if HR, if you want to give an example, okay. HR is basically if it could deal with offboarding and onboarding and employees. Okay, there's a basic thing what comes into HR kind of thing when you remember, right? So the whole process can be done in ServiceNow itself. So HRs need not have the Excel sheets, or they need not make us fill all the forms how we fill it in the paper, right? They did not do it. If they have ServiceNow intact with them, so HR can do these all things online itself. So that's a basic thing what we have. Okay. So another thing which is very beautiful, which was introduced by ServiceNow, it is automated test framework. So if someone is from a testing background and they are doing manual testing, very less people are right now focusing on manual testing. If you want to go for automated testing, we have Jasmine, Selenium, and other stuff, right? So ServiceNow is catering for automated testing also by using ATF. It uses Jasmine in behind the scenes. Let's focus more on incident management. So we are just taking one of the topics of ServiceNow. So let's take incident management as such. Then whenever a customer and an end user gets an issue, they want it to be resolved as soon as possible, right? Even when we get an issue, maybe in a broadband, maybe my Wi-Fi is not working. I don't want a lot of delay in it. I don't want to, it should not go from one person to another team for a long time, right? It creates issues. So the way incident management is defined in ServiceNow is so much user friendly that the end user would get notification from the time they have created an incident to the time they have resolved the incident. And with the AI, with the predictive analysis, if the incident is a similar kind of incident is raised again and again and again, they would be figuring out the actual answer and giving it back to the end user without transferring it to the level 1 or level 2. So from the service desk itself, you'll get the resolution and it will go back to it. Okay. If you want a root cause analysis, obviously if you have multiple incidents for the same issue, you can club them out and you can create a problem and you can work on problem. That is a problem management as such in ServiceNow. So when I say about end user benefit, it is rapid service restoration and user friendly services interactions. Just because we have chatbots in place, we have knowledge base in place, we have service desk equipped with the predictive analysis. If an incident comes like my Wi-Fi is not working, so at least it will give the first 2-3 steps quickly to the end user so that they can just check it out and they can give the information. And even if after that it's not working, they'll raise an incident on behalf of the end user. Okay? And even as an IT sector, it is very much fast to find out the root cause and minimize the issue of reoccurrences. Okay? Go to the next one. Basic steps. This is the basic steps, guys. This can be different for different organizations. Okay, the basic steps are same, but how you're assigning it, how you're investigating, it is different for the different organization as such. So when a breakdown happens, you have to report an incident. Okay, and then the managing of incidents, basically assessment. The assessment, as I said, you can be happening from a level one team. But the beauty is that ServiceNow is having predictive analysis to do the assessment. So you need not have a level 1 team as such. It can be done automatically. Assignment. So again, level 1 team will assign after assessment. It will give the tickets to the particular teams. But even this has been automated by ServiceNow by using a advanced work reassignment. Okay, and then you can investigate. Investigation is it has to be done by a user. So whichever team is assigned to this particular incident, they can actually investigate and go for resolution of the incident. And once the incident is resolved, the notifications will go to the users and they can check and they can say whether it has been actually resolved. If not, then they can actually go back to the whole cycle, that is reopening the whole incident and going back to the cycle. Once you're working on these incidents, okay, if a manager wants to figure out how many incidents has been assigned to this particular person and how was the reassignment count of that person, everything, all the reporting is given by ServiceNow itself. So the reporting and dashboards are very much easy when you're using ServiceNow as such. I'll take a break and discuss more on the roles in incident management. When this is the roles integrate to ServiceNow inside ServiceNow, okay? If anyone knows about ITIL, this is a basic principle of incident management or ITSM as such, right? So on that principle itself, we have a role which is ITIL, which deals with opening, updating, closing incidents, closing problems, working on changes, configuration management items, etc. ITIL admin is just like a team lead, okay? It will have a team lead's role. It will have the ability to delete some incidents, okay? Which we don't have access as an ITIL user. Major incident manager. Basically, how would you find out whether this incident is actually a very, very major incident? An incident manager, whoever is having a major incident manager, is the only person who can categorize a particular incident into major and accordingly get the preference over the other incidents in the life cycle of the incident. Okay? Okay, guys, I'll take a break here. If you have any other questions still there, you can ask me to the previous slide. No questions? Okay, then. So let's go forward and see what ServiceNow applications are. Basically, as I said, the ServiceNow by itself provides many out-of-box applications. And there are many applications which you can create by yourself. That is for custom applications. Okay. Suppose if your application is dealing with, your organization is dealing with purchasing as such. Okay. They are in retail business and they are dealing with purchasing. Now, ServiceNow does not have purchasing module as such. So you can actually by yourself create an application for purchasing and create the whole, you utilize the existing tables and existing functionality of ServiceNow and go forward. If you had a purchasing application created, obviously you'll get virtual agent, basically a chatbot, and few of the things which is already existing in ServiceNow free of cost for yourself. So you need not actually develop a chatbot by yourself. Okay, so that's the advantage of having a scoped applications. Why would you create a scoped applications in ServiceNow, right? You can create in Java and other stuff. But in that way, you have to do everything by yourself. Have a chatbot, have the integrations and everything. But here, you'll get many of the things free of cost for yourself, like virtual agent. Basically, virtual agent is a chatbot, okay, which deals with having 24/7 self-service, and it will have the use cases and it will give the answers very quickly. You can actually extend the chatbot by writing more integrations, okay? You can actually give more intuitive answers based on your requirements. So you can actually customize the virtual agent also. Similarly, the predictive intelligence, as I said, that right now data science and AI is in, machine learning is in right now. So we have predictive intelligence basically to categorize and route issues to the right resolution teams. So this particular part, use this to automatically categorize and route issues to the right resolution team. It was not done automatically, and it is not done automatically in many organizations till now. They use L1 service team. Basically, they have a group of 5 or 6 people who will be actually checking out the short description, and they'll be sending to that particular team, assuming that's the right thing. And what happens is, basically, it could be if a new person has joined the L1 team and they don't know by the short description whether they are sending the correct team or not. There could be a lot of reassignment of the same incident and cause frustration to the customer as such. When you automate the whole thing, you need not worry about who is the new person. There is less dependency on the humans as such, okay? But for this to happen, you should have your historical data, and the historical data quality should be really good. Only then the predictive intelligence can be combined, okay? There are many other applications, but I felt that these two applications are really in, and they are kind of enhancing these two applications a lot. There's other application also called as guided tools, okay? Basically, when you create an application and you give to the end user, many times what happens is the customer does not understand what you have done in your application. So what you do, you go for sprint review, and at that time you teach them, you know what, if you want to create a particular thing, you have to go like this, you have to click this icon, you have to go here. So you give this whole thing manually and you teach them, right? That can, and if a user does not attend your sprint review, and later point of time the person wants to try it out, they have to again get in touch with your team to find out how the system works out, or they have to get in contact with someone who was there in the review to get a feel of what you have developed as such, right? But if you had now ServiceNow has guided tools. So basically, as the name suggests, it's a guided tool, okay? So you can develop that guided tool after your system, after you have developed your application, and give that particular thing to the user, and by themselves they can just click on the guided tool anytime they want to, and it can be automatically showing what exactly they have to do for creating an incident, for example. I'm giving a simple example as to the incident. Okay. So that is how beautifully applications have been developed in ServiceNow, which is out of box available for us. So we need not actually write that particular code also. Let's go for the career scope. Okay, guys. So now, career scope is for you guys to decide in which field of ServiceNow you are interested in. If you want to go for administration, basically managing the already existing applications, already developed applications, do a bit of maintenance, like do a bit of configurations and other stuff, you can go for administrators, okay? If you want to think about process as such. You are very good business analyst and you want to go for, using your knowledge, business knowledge, and explaining the development team, how to cater it in the ServiceNow. That can be, if you're interested in that particular area, then you have to go for implementers. Okay, they are called as implementers. Now, developers. Developers as such can customize ServiceNow as much as possible. They can actually configure and customize by using scripts and by using custom applications. They can create custom applications. They can do many other things in development sector. The last but not the least, testers. Okay, so testers can utilize the ServiceNow for using the automated test framework. There is also test management as such in ITBM. Okay, so if you are going for a manual testing itself, you can go for test management also. There is a different module for that. But if you want to automate the testing framework as such, you can go for ATM or automated test framework. Okay, so there is ServiceNow caters for both manual and automated test. Okay? So now, based on your area of interest, you can do the certifications accordingly. So if you're interested in administration, you can do CSA, that is Certified System Administrator. Okay? And if you want to go for implementation specialist, now implementation specialist will be for a specific area of implementation. For example, if I'm interested in discovery, so I will be doing an I'll be taking a certification for discovery implementation only. So it is that specific, okay? And then we have certified application developer. That is for the application developers as such. You can do certifications for that. Each one of them has some prerequisites to be completed before you take a certification as such. Okay. With that, I think we have come to the end of the slides. Now we are open for any questions, guys. If you have any questions anywhere in any of the slides, you can come forward and ask me right now.
Swati, I have one question. As per your experience, and may I know, like, what is the weightage for ServiceNow security operations over ITOM?
Let me go back. Okay. ITOM, and what was the other thing?
Security operations.
Security operations basically deals with vulnerabilities and, security aspect as such. And right now, in India, what I'm seeing is ITOM is picking up the pace. Security is a very difficult thing. Security operations, very few people are doing it. And you should have some background in security operations as such to, venture in security operations. Because you are dealing with threat intelligence, risk analysis, auditing. So if you are in that background, then you can venture in security operations. But usually guys are now going for ITOM mostly in the industry. Because mostly operations are done either by manually or they are just done by some legacy applications. So they're converting, they're basically transitioning from that legacy application into ServiceNow. So they're just phasing the legacy application and going for operations.
Okay. So ITOM is very booming if I talk specific about India. So the job openings are more as compared to security operations.
Yes, that's for sure. Yes. But majorly ITSM, if you have ITSM knowledge and if you're interested in development, yeah, that's in now. Because ITOM is dealing with, it deals with licensing, right? It has licensing angle. So the company has to pay some amount to get ITOM in their instances. So what they're doing is, they are taking ITSM, just ITSM, and they're creating custom applications to cater their operations. Sometimes, yeah.
So if I want to learn ITOM, so is it necessary to have a development background?
Not fully development background, but yeah, you should know the operations as such. You should be good in your operations. You should know what is, what do you call about mid servers, what is middleware in between your two applications, how would you interact with these two applications, and other stuff. Yeah, so you should be good in that particular area.
So basically, if I want to choose to learn any one module as compared to both the modules, so I should go with ITOM as compared to security operations, right? So ITOM is more demand.
Yeah, more in demand. Yeah, security operations, very few people are doing right now. It's a good thing to learn though, but if you have a security background as such, then it's really good thing to go for security operations. It's interesting.
Oh. Okay. Because I also saw there are very less openings into the market in terms of security operations, talking about India.
Yeah, so because security as I said you, that is an interesting topic, but you should have a vast experience in security operations before ServiceNow. If you have a good business knowledge, if you would have done security operations, not in ServiceNow but somewhere else, then you can, take that knowledge and dig in ServiceNow as such. But if you don't have any background of security, then people don't, prefer someone who does not have a background in security.
And any prerequisite background required for ITOM? Only ITSM would be the prerequisite for ITOM.
See, ITOM and ITSM ITSM is a prerequisite for ITOM, and both of them require some knowledge in scripting. Especially ITSM, we need scripting knowledges. So modules are divided for a customer perspective, okay? But scripting and development is for any of your modules. If you don't know the basic scripting, what you can do inside ServiceNow, then you can't cater anything as such. You can't cater ITOM or you can't cater ITSM. This is division done in the holistic way for the business. But underlying thing is, it is using MySQL, it is using Glide records, it is using Glide Ajax. It is basically using scripting and MySQL database. So you should be so again, it depends on which area you want to venture, what kind of roles you want to take, okay? Your career scope, it depends on that. Basically, if you want to go for as an administrator in ITOM, or implementer in ITOM, or developer in ITOM, or a tester in ITOM. So accordingly, according to your area of interest, the amount of scripting would differ.
So I just missed that one related to the job. So actually, I'm into I picked the developer part. Right now, I'm in the application development in the ServiceNow. So how will be the job opportunity for the developers in the ServiceNow? Maybe I missed that one.
Right now, ServiceNow developers are in the job market is really good for ServiceNow developers and architects as such. Even administrators for that matter. It's really good. It's really good for them. And in testers, ATF, many people don't know ATF, so it is really good for them also. If you have equipped in ATF, so with developers and ATF combination, yeah, you're really good. Because when you're doing a development, right? When you're doing a development, regression testing, and when it goes for upgrading, okay? Upgrades and all is done by a combination of administrators and developers. So if in the upgrades, if you don't know about ATF, it can be a back foot for you. So if you have ATF, you can automatically run your test suite and find out whether your system is working fine or not after an upgrade. As simple as that. Upgrade is basically release to release, okay? Once you were moving from New York to Orlando, that's called as an upgrade. Okay? Just so if somebody does not know that.
You told about this predictive intelligence, right?
Yes.
That is supported in this Orlando release, or like it is supported from the previous release as well?
It was there from the previous release. I'm just confused with New York or just before that release, but for sure New York, right? And what ServiceNow does is like any other development guys, okay? They first introduce the concept. They give a basic version of any of the applications, like predictive intelligence. The basic version of it was sketched out in New York or before New York release, just before New York release. Just don't remember that, but New York for sure. So what it does is it gave a basic overview, basic version of predictive intelligence, and then they enhance that particular application with the coming releases. So Orlando is having more features which is added in predictive intelligence, okay? But as I said you, the predictive intelligence will only work if your organization has a very good historical data. The data quality should be good for doing a predictive analysis, right? Otherwise, it will not work out. If your data is not good, it will not work out. So data science basically deals with that. So if you have a good data, historical data, you can actually work on predictive intelligence. It's a very good tool to work on.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
So there were a lot of versions, right? So how those are different? Like, is there feature differences between the versions, or what is it?
For each release, there are feature differences. If they want to, see, it's the same thing like we do in our development cycles, right? If you have developed an application, you can add new features in your next release. You'll just first send version 1. Okay, sorry?
It's a feature name, that's all, right?
No. See, what happens is for each...
version name.
It's like a version name, right? So they're just giving version name in a beautiful way like Orlando or New York so that everyone, it will be a common one. So otherwise version 1.4, it could be different for each of you, right? So it's
number,
they're naming it. Basically, they're bundling all the existing features, and if there is any enhancement in existing features, if there are any bugs in existing features, and if they want to introduce any new features, okay? They're combining everything and sending it to new release. Yeah?
What's the latest one?
Orlando.
Okay. So while requesting for the PDI, so can we pick from it will give the latest version, or
no, it will give 3 versions. It will give New York, it will give Orlando, and the previous one.
Oh. So before to Orlando, it's New York, right?
Yes.
Do you also take training?
Yes. So we were coming on that. Yeah. So if you are interested after the ServiceNow webinar, if you got interested in ServiceNow, and if you want to go for any trainings, you can actually contact MindMajix, and we go for training. I will give training for that. So it depends on which sector you want to go for. If you want to go for administrator, you can say MindMajix that you want to go for administrator, developer, anything. Okay.
I would like to go with ITOM.
You want to go for ITOM? I can go for ITOM. We can go for that. But the problem is that it is not free of cost. So I have to think about the logics. But yeah, we can go for it. Yeah.
No, definitely, because we paid training. So if let's say if I choose you as my trainer in terms of ITOM, so what you will cover exactly? All 4 modules, or specifically one module like discovery or service mapping?
I can cover all the 4 because if you're dealing with ITOM, it's all the 4, right? So I have covered. I am a certified system administrator. I have done application developer also, and then I went for certified implementation specialist, and I have taken discovery as my implementation. So so we can have different things associated with it, okay? But discovery and service mapping, I can go for discovery and service mapping and other stuff also, but my specialization is in discovery, so that's for sure.
So can we go one by one, like say if I specifically studying this for job change perspective, if I go for one module that is discovery, and I am very much sure that I'm okay with discovery and I should get job, and later on I can go with second module, event management or service mapping. Will that do, or do I need to complete all the things at one go and search for a job?
It's better to have the combination of discovery and service mapping. Because if you want to suggest, as I said, there are 2 approaches, okay? There's a top-down approach and a bottom-up approach, okay? So, when you're dealing with discovery and service mapping, there are 2 different approaches. And when you're suggesting a company, you have to give both the approaches to them to choose, right? Or to work. If you're just working as a developer out there, if you just join the team of ITOM, then you have to know both the technologies, both the modules. They could be working on discovery. They could be working on service mapping. So you should know both of them to venture on ITOM, right?
The last question from mine. Okay.
No problem. Yeah.
Let's say I have experience of 2 years into ServiceNow admin, and I would like to change the job, and I would like to go with ITOM domain, and I learned discovery from you. And I don't have any experience into the discovery, nothing previous background. So let's say if I complete the course and I am very much perfect theoretically, so should I jump into the market? So they will ask me about the experience specifically into discovery, or theoretical part I can explain them and get a job.
It depends on the companies, to be very frank. I will not say that just the theoretical one will work out. You should have some experience in it also. But it also it all depends on the companies also, because ServiceNow resources are so few that sometimes if you just have theoretical knowledge, people are taking and trusting you that you will, if given a a project, you will be trying to pick it up. At least you are good in theoretical one. So it depends on company to company. I can't comment that. Yeah, I can't comment on that as such.
Okay. No problem. Thank you.
All modules will have the development, right?
Yeah, all modules. See, any module to progress further is having development. So if you go for see, when you give a training, right, you can either go for administrators or developers, okay? And if you are good in development, if you got the development gist of it, then you can develop any of the modules. You can work on any of the modules as a developer. Yeah? So the modules are done only for business perspective. Okay, so when they're selling in ServiceNow, if they want to, if the business says that, you know what, I want to cater in ITSM, so they will just sell this much to them. If they say, you know what, I want ITSM and ITOM both, then they will go for licensing. That they'll say that, okay, fine, I'll give you ITSM freely, and for ITOM, this much is the cost. Are you ready to take it? And it depends on the
BSA, who invented sort of the mathematical rules these curves follow along different mathematical planes. So when you have Bezier curves or curves,
I'm really not able to hear you properly. Could you please ask the question again, or you can could you please ask the question again? I was really not able to get it.
Yeah, I have a question regarding the certification. Like, is it possible to? I have heard that you can write this exam in house also, like using an external webcam. Do you have any idea about it? Okay.
Yes, you can actually do that also. That is recruited. I'm very bad in that term. I always do a mistake.
Okay.
Basically,
No
you can actually go to the center and write it down, and or you can have in your laptop itself. But then you should have an external webcam, and the webcam should be satisfying the requirement specifications which is given in ServiceNow website. If you don't satisfy the conditions, then it will not be allowing you to write the exam. So that's the reason why many people go for the center itself, because they have all the system ready, so it's easier for them to write down. Again, you should have there is some installation also you should do in your laptop. Okay, there's a external webcam, and there is a app which has to be installed so that they will know that you're not cheating. So they'll cover everything. So in that way, yeah. But I had done at home itself because I was somewhere else, so I could not go for the exam center. For one of them, I did that.
Because of the current corona situation.
I understand. But with experience, I'm saying you, it's better to go to the center and take it up, because it's much easier. Otherwise, if you have a small mistake also in the specifications, they'll just reject it on the spot. They will not let you take the exam. It's frustrating. So,
so
it's better.
Yeah, thank you.
So I gone through the past certification learning path, the ServiceNow learning path. So I think some of them are the classroom training.
Yeah.
So they are also available on demand or only the classroom? Because I see only the classroom, but I don't know. I'm not able to reach to that.
Okay, so you're talking about ServiceNow inside ServiceNow itself, right? Yeah.
Right.
So whenever you see classroom, it is basically paid. Okay. And you have to pay certain amounts to get into the classroom. And again, it depends on the availability of the classroom. Again, if you say classroom, it does not mean that you have to go to some center and then only you have to go for the classroom. It could be a web conference also, and they treat that also as classroom. But the thing is that whenever you see classroom, it is chargeable, and that's the reason why you don't get it. If you pay the amount, then you will get inside. No problem. Okay, guys, this was an interesting session. I love that you all asked questions. I felt that, okay, fine, you all are interested in the webinar. I'm really happy with that. So guys, again, as I said, to conclude the whole thing, If you want to have any trainings, you can contact the MindMajix and they will ask you about which training do you want. Can give you an individual trainings also. It could be an admin training, developer training, implementation training, or it could be an ATF also. I can give a separate one for ATF also. Okay, with that.
It was a nice session. We got a overlook of all the modules in short. So the webinar was good.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Okay, with that, let's conclude the meeting. Thanks a lot, guys, for attending my webinar, and be safe, be at home. Okay?
Yes.
Okay then. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.